service. Hang on, I'm putting this on gallery view so I can see your faces and not just mine. That's an important part of this chant practice, actually, is that I'm going to invite you to consider that you put things on gallery view so that you can see our collective faces and names connected this morning. So I'm so happy that we're together, and I wanted to frame a little bit what this service is and has been throughout the years on second day Rosh Hashanah. So we gather together in a way that's a little different, yes, than what we've done in services. It's it's a non-traditional model, and for many of us, chanting has become really important as a way to be centered, receive, reflect, get grounded. And there's another way in which this service, I think, comes to serve us. There's a lot that we've already received on Erev Rosh Hashanah and yesterday in services, and some of us were outside together yesterday. And we're doing this moment here where we have a contemplative, meditative practice that will allow us to digest and integrate some of what we've been receiving. And I really see this as a valuable time for that, to maybe recall some things that you have been hearing in services, some teachings, some more that you'll hear this morning. And that with some spaciousness in the chanting and some spaciousness in the silence between the chants, that we have a chance to just cultivate a little bit more space. I think that on second day Rosh Hashanah, my experience is that, and this may be yours, I'm a little more open, a little more awake, and a little more vulnerable. And I want you to take care of that for yourselves, to allow that vulnerability to be part of our spiritual preparation for how we invite change within us that we so long for at this time. We really look to the days of awe to bring us spiritual nourishment that allows for us to shift and change. And we're getting ready to move into Yom Kippur. We're going to have these days in between. So second day Rosh Hashanah here at CBH and this chant practice is a bridge between all that we've brought in, what we're moving within us, and where we take that into Yom Kippur. So this is the practice. The chants will be in the chat, so you'll have them there. We deeply miss our collected sound. I may cry a little bit in missing that, but I also know that we have profoundly risen to the occasion of still allowing chant practice to work. So those of you that are fortunate enough to be in a space with someone else, you'll have more than one voice with you. The rest of you, like me here, just by myself, I'll hear my voice and I'll imagine your voice. You get to chant with my voice, and you get to let your voice go where it wants to go. There's no limit to what you can do. You may just stay on one tone, or you may follow me, or you may harmonize. That may be what you feel. So that's the practice this morning. And then after we close our chant practice, we'll have a little more Torah from Rabbi Dale. Rabbi Dale this is her first time doing second day chant service. So we welcome her into this practice that she'll be learning with us. And good morning, Rabbi Dale. Welcome.
Good morning, Shana Tova. So wonderful to be with all of you. Yes, Mackenzie, it is a Shechianu moment. I think I'll take a second and just really say that this is the first time that I have the opportunity to swim in the sea of chant. so beautifully and skillfully woven by Gayan and Will, and to allow myself and ourselves to be moved along by it. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ruach haolam shehecheyanu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. So Gayan spoke about our vulnerability on this second day, and on the first night of Rosh Hashanah, we talked about living in the liminal place, in the in-between. Gayan, as you were talking, I was thinking about Gesher Tzar Ma'od, all the world is just a narrow bridge. And what is it in the midst of this liminal space, in the neither here nor there, in the liminal space of these 10 days, when we haven't yet had the opportunity to be sealed into the book of life? I'm thinking about the ha'ikar lo lefached klal, and above all is not to fear everything. It's interesting, that teaching from Rabbi Nachman is often translated as, and above all is not to fear at all. But lo lefached klal could be translated maybe better as not to fear in general, not to fear all the time, not to fear everything. So we're invited to not live in a stance of fear, not to say that fear doesn't arise in us, that insecurity doesn't arise in us, that resistance to uncertainty doesn't arise in us. But I think what we're asked to cultivate is bitachon, the quality of trust, the quality of allowing each moment to unfold in this new year. Christian friends of mine have this saying, when you're walking in the darkness and you don't know where you're going, you can't pray that you're going to be able to see to the end of the road. But what you can pray is that God light the next step. Maybe we can cultivate bitachon, that the next step will be lit for us, and that somehow the light of our spirits and the rising of holiness from our singing will give us enough light to make the next step and the next step and the next step.
Amen. We begin with 2 morning prayers, and these morning prayers I really see as spiritual stretching. They're something we should do every day to both be grateful. We wake up to our gratitude, and we also remember that our souls are pure. And at this time, it's a really important thing to be able to do that. I have a piece of whimsical art in my house that says, "Don't hate me because I sin differently than you." And I've been thinking about that today because of the vulnerability that starts to open itself up. So Elohai Neshama Shenatata Bi Tehorahi is a beautiful morning stretch into reminding us gratitude, and with Moda Ani and in Elohai Neshama, our spirit, our breath carries us and sustains us into holiness. So before we go into our chant, I thought we actually might do a real stretch. So wherever you are in your chair, to allow yourself to stretch, because you'll feel the sides of your body open up. And that opening on the side of your body is where your lungs live. And your lungs are where your breath moves in and moves out. So that stretching will allow your chant to be wider and larger. Your voice carries on your breath this morning. It's some beautiful stretching you're doing. Yeah, that's beautiful. Maybe a little bit of your neck too. Yeah? Yeah, beautiful. We begin. Ruach Chai V'chayam Moda'ani Lefanecha 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 Ruach Chai V'chayam Elohai Neshama Shenata Bi Tehorahi 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 Elohai Neshama Shenata Bi Teorai Eloi Neshama Shenata Bi Teorai.
We are in the liminal space. We are in the in-between. And in these days of Elul and Tishrei, we read a special psalm, the 27th Psalm. And the psalm has this very mysterious line in it. It says, Lecha amar libi, to you my soul said, my heart said, Bakshu fanai, seek my face. Et panecha Adonai avakesh, and I, eternal God, will seek your face. Seek my face and I will seek your face. I feel like, first of all, we can translate face as presence. Seek my presence and I will seek your presence. When we quiet down enough to forget for a brief moment about our pressing day-to-day obligations, sometimes what arises is really that longing for spiritual connection, for being connected at our core. And what is so beautiful and inspiring to me about this verse is we are both seeking God and the divine and holiness, and imagining that that longing and that seeking is coming from the other direction too. That when we open ourselves and allow us to feel our longing for true connection, for true relationship with what is real, what is true, that there's a longing coming the other way, that we are met. So I invite us in this sacred, beautifully quiet, spacious place to allow our hearts to long for connection to presence, connection to the divine among us, in us, around us, and let us know that that divine is waiting for us to reach out, that we will be met. Et panecha avakesh, I will seek your presence. Bakshu fanai, seek mine as well.
These next two chants really expand on Rabbi Dale's teaching that we're reaching out, sometimes in sorrow, which Psalm 81 expresses, and waiting to be met. And in these liminal spaces, in this chant that will follow, Lo Neda, this liminal space is that we're on a journey, that we're not quite sure where we're going sometimes. And as Rabbi Dale said yesterday, we're looking to what sustains us and guides us in this liminal time. And that is part of our own spiritual journey. Batsara karata ve'achasecha, batsara karata ve'achasecha, eincha beseter Ram. Lo nedama navod et yad boenu shama. Lo nedama navod et yad boenu shama. Shama lo nedama navod et yad boenu shama. Lo nedama navod et yad boenu shama. Shama
In the Torah reading for the second day of Rosh Hashanah, one word appears 4 times. The word is hineni. Abraham, our ancestor, responds to 4 different requests or calls with the word hineni, here I am. When God tells him to go take Isaac to do something that seems unimaginable, Abraham says, hineni. And when Isaac along the way, not knowing what's happening, says, I don't get this, Dad, what's going on here? Abraham says, hineni b'ni, here I am, my son. And when the angel calls out thankfully to tell Abraham that he needn't do what he thought he needed to do, each time he calls out hineni, here I am. So what does it mean to say hineni, here I am? I think in the context of unbidden realities like the pandemic, like being in this liminal space we're all existing in, there's a great tendency to want to resist. Certainly, I found myself at the beginning of the pandemic saying, no, that can't be. This trip I had planned, this conference I was going to speak at, this thing that we were going to do as a family, that has to happen. And maybe that kind of resistance to unbidden reality is what we see with the seemingly unfathomable resistance to the reality of both the health risk of the pandemic and the health resources that we have that people are not taking advantage of, sadly. In my work and with end of life and aging, I have found that there's a tendency sometimes to stiffen, to not accept a diagnosis, to not accept changes in a loved one. And I have never seen any good come from resisting reality. Someone said, when I fight reality, I lose, but only 100% of the time. So resisting reality through denying or distancing or refusing to engage with it is costly. It keeps us from having the resources we need to meet the moment. And I believe the teaching of hineni is to say, here I am, let me be in whatever faces me. Let me bring my presence and my humility to know, lo neda, we don't know how this will unfold, but I bring myself fully to this moment. May we, in this place of uncertainty and liminality and fear and danger, be able to say hineni, to be able to muster our resources, to be able to reach out to support one another and those around us who are so in need of our care. Hineni, here I am. I don't know what's ahead, but I am willing, I am present, I am here.
Hineni, 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 hineni.
Shiviti Havaya Lenekti Tamid Shiviti Havaya Lenekti Tamid Havaya, 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 Ahava, 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 Havaya, 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 Ahava, 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 Shiviti Havaya Lenegdi Tamid Shiviti Havaya Lenegdi Tamid Havaya, 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 Ahava, 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 Havaya, 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 Ahava, 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 Shiviti Havaya Lenegdi Tamid Shiviti Havaya Lenegdi Tamid Havaya, 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 Ahava, 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 Havaya, 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 Ahava, 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 Shiviti Havaya Lenegdi Tamid Shiviti Havaya Lenegdi Tamid.
join together for the Shema. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Take a few moments of silence. As we've walked into 5782, we've also walked into a sabbatical year, the Shemitah year. And I'm going to bring you a little bit of a teaching from Rabbi Sam Feinsmith about this. And this is to give us something to reflect on as we watch a video and hear a song by Jesse Romer about the Shemitah year. And we'll just use it for our own reflection time for what we might shift within ourselves in this coming year. The Torah recognizes that we human beings can easily fall into delusion, imagining ourselves to operate independently of the great oneness of being. And a natural outgrowth of such a misperception is the mistaken belief that we own the earth and are therefore entitled to exploit it as we see fit to increase our power and wealth. As a corrective to our tendency to fall prey to this delusion, the Torah provides us with an earth-based spiritual practice called Shemitah. It's literally a year of release or letting go. The land will lie fallow, is what the Torah teaches us. Its natural produce ownerless and free for use by anyone. The owner of the land cannot claim first use, and even the animals are given free rein to eat from the fields left fallow. What an amazing idea. During this year-long sabbatical, a kind of extended retreat, we are asked, as a spiritual practice, to release our habitual tendencies and grow in awareness of our interdependence within the great oneness. By letting go in all these ways, we may come to recognize that without the land belonging to us, that we are in the land, part of it. This is a Gandhi quote. It can still produce enough for everyone's needs, but not for everyone's greed. Every human being on this planet exists in a state of mutuality with the earth, its ecosystems, its human, animal, and plant communities, all of which are ultimately sustained by the great ocean of being. In this Shemitah year, may we cultivate awareness that our lives are a gift, that we are intricately connected to all that is and the earth that we live upon. Enjoy Jesse's video.
What a beautiful, beautiful reminder that video is of our capacity to renew the earth. It's so joyous when we understand and honor our connection to the land. And just as we can feed and nourish that connection with the earth, so too can we feed and renew our connection with ourselves. We have that capacity. We just need to take the time to listen. Please join me in Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem. Renew our days, renew us as of old. Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem. 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 Let the sun see you. Let the sun see you. Let the sun see you. Let the sun in. Let the sun see you. Let the sun see you. Let the sun see you. Let the sun in. Let the sun see you. Let the sun see you. Let the sun see you. Let the sun in. Let the sun see you. Let the sun see you. Let the sun see you. Let the sun in. Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem. 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 Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem.
Thank you. I've been so lifted by Rebecca and Mackenzie and Shayna's chanting this morning. So beautiful. Thank you. As is custom in a chant experience that we share together, we send this energy that we've been cultivating together towards those that are in need of healing in some way. I invite you to put into the chat the names of those people you want to send this healing prayer to. And our love and our hope for healing. So we close this part of our second day Rosh Hashanah service by dedicating the merit of this chant practice to the well-being of all, and we'll close singing Shalom together. But we're not done yet, because we're going to have a little more Torah and a beautiful video from Alan Sugar too. So we're just ending this part. Shalom, 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 shalom. Thank you for being a part of this practice.
So we've been hearing throughout this holiday voices from CBH. Today we get to hear from Alan Sugar. And I just want to say that what I appreciate so much about these beautiful testimonials and videos is the uniqueness of every single one of them. There is no one like any of these people. No one like any of the precious souls in CBH. And so it's really beautiful to have a chance to hear about the journey and the vision of Alan Sugar.
time ago, a million years BC, the best things in life were absolutely free, but no one appreciated a sky that was always blue, and no one congratulated a moon that was always new. So it was planned that they would vanish now and then, and you must pay before you get them back again. That's what storms were made for, and you shouldn't be afraid, for every time it rains, pennies from heaven. I love that song, but I especially like that introduction. I've always found it haunting and a bit troubling. But now I don't find it so troubling, because now I feel that, well, maybe I don't have to pay to get them back again. Maybe I don't have to work for them, and maybe I don't have to earn it all. And it's always there. And I find that I share so much of that in my poetry. I have a poem that, this is a copy. I have a poem on my refrigerator, and I think it still holds up. And I think it expresses that idea. I'll just read the first 8 lines. It's called The Pilot. This flame, this glow, a light below that burns. It's blue and orange and deep within pale green. It's always there among the ash, unseen, and rising like a sign, it leaps and turns. This source of wealth, this gold, no eye discerns, remains for me when I'm beyond my means. And there it waits through daily dull routines, investing like a dividend that earns. Well, I can't say more than that. So I'm asking you all to reach into your hearts, and also to reach into your pockets, and to consider offering at this time a donation, a gift of, well, this year we're asking for a gift of $270. And I don't know where they got that number from. Richard Stone sent that to me in an email. So if you have a problem with 270, just talk to Rick. I'm sure he'll give you a story. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be exactly $270. It is not, get this, it is not etched in stone. I love that. It can be a little bit more, a little bit less. And you know, $270, that's about $1.35 a day. That'll buy you a cup of coffee. Well, if you live in the 1950s. Actually, it's a little bit more than $1.35, because I went on a calculator and I did the math, and it comes to 1.35185. It's irrational. And irrational numbers go on and on and on, just like giving itself. So please consider giving a donation of $270, a little bit more, a little bit less. And listen, you don't have to give anything at all. If you don't give anything at all, just call me and I'll take you out for a cup of coffee. It's just pennies a day. And if you hear it thunder, don't you run under a tree. There'll be a building on La Vista that we're still paying for the CBH community. Thank you.
We are thrilled to announce the Socolo Challenge. Each high holiday gift will be matched up to a total of $15,000. Please visit www.donatetocbh.org/2021 to make your 100% match gift today. Thank you again for your generous support.
I have no words. Alan, that was amazing. Thank you for your spirit and your artistry and your humor and your generosity with our community. So a word of Torah about a troubling text, this reading for the second day of Rosh Hashanah, the Akedah, the binding of Isaac. This reading has troubled me so much and so long that I actually wrote my rabbinic thesis about it many years ago. I wanted to figure out at the time, what did Jews in ancient times make of this story, and what did early Christians make of this story, and what could we learn from the way that the two traditions looked at this story from how it was that Christianity diverged from Judaism. But that's a story for another day. Suffice it to say that I have had an opportunity to look at each word of this story very closely over many years. And what I am intrigued with today is a connection to something that Cliff taught us yesterday about the story of Hagar. These two stories about Abraham's two sons whom he imperiled have something in common. And that is seemingly a brick wall. Hagar, in the text we read yesterday, has been cast out with her son and given, in going into the desert, a little flask of water and a little bit of food, bread. Certainly not enough to sustain them till they got to wherever it was that they might go. And so she despaired, as Cliff taught us, and sat down and wailed. And the Torah tells us that an angel of God came to her and said, "What's with you, Hagar? Don't you see that God has heard the voice of the boy where he is, Ba'asher Husham, in the stuff that he's in?" And Hagar, at that moment, who felt that there was absolutely nothing that she could do, had an experience. Vayivkach Elohim et eineha. God opened her eyes. Vatera be'er mayim. She saw a well of water. Vatelech vatimale et achem et mayim. Vatashket hanar. And she went and filled the flask with water, and she gave drink to the boy. God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. Was the well not there before? Could she not open her own eyes? How is it that we see that which will sustain us, that which will provide a path forward? In today's reading, Abraham is up on the mountaintop thinking that what God wants of him is to sacrifice his son. I think he, as Cliff pointed out, didn't listen well, and that's not really what God was asking of him. But at any rate, there's Isaac tied on the altar, ready to be sacrificed. Abraham has the knife in his hand, and an angel says, "Wait a second. Wait a second. You don't have to do that." And at that moment, Vayisa Avraham et einav, Abraham lifted up his eyes. Vayar v'hine ayel echar ne'echaz basvach bekarnav. And he saw that here was a ram caught by its horns in the thicket, and that was the sacrifice that was required of him. Again, the well was there and Hagar didn't see it. The ram was in the thicket. It didn't just happen to walk there. It was caught, presumably caught for some time. But Abraham lifted up his eyes and he saw it, and the way out was available. So I want to suggest And then he called the place, by the way, Adonai. He called Vayikra Avraham et Shem HaMakom HaHu. He called this place Adonai Yireh, the place where God will see. But who was it who really saw? Was it God or was it Avraham? Avraham saw. So this was the place of godly seeing. So maybe Hagar had her eyes opened. Avraham just had to lift his eyes. He didn't need someone to open them. He just had to lift his eyes. Sometimes we are looking down in the midst of our narrow place of our constriction, and we cannot see possibility. If we can lift up our eyes, perhaps we will find the key to taking the next step. May we all find the power to lift up our eyes in the coming days and in the coming year. May we be able to see the source of sustenance. May we be able to see the place of possibility. And when we think of the shofar, let us think about that ram that gave its life so that we could have a way out and our people could continue. Let's lift up our eyes.
Leave my father, leave my homeland. Follow you, and you will make me a blessing. I can see you in the darkness. I can smell you in the blood of our bargain. Is my son my own to give away? Is he my own to hold on to? Tell me how, pass your final test, must I defy or obey you? On the mountain, I stand vainly seeking an answer in the blank stare of the eyes of the ram and the bramble.
I saw faces, I saw colors. There was light then in the tent of my mother. I have learned new ways of seeing. I have been up to the top of the mountain. Light began to fade as I was blinded by the tears of the angels falling in my eyes as I lay bound upon the wood and the fire. My eyes open, looking past my Father out to the heavens. My heart open by the knife that slew the ram and the bramble.
I have waited since the 6th day to hear your voice cry out, here I am. In your image, in your own voice, I call out your name and cry, here I am. As I promised, I made you a father. Know the pain of the Father. I can see that you see me now. You know that I know that you know me. On the 6th day, I created the ram and the bramble. On the 6th day, I created the ram and the bramble.
Yasher Koach on that incredible teaching that song just illuminated so powerfully for us. Thank you, Robert Sens and Rabbi Dale, for that teaching. Let's chant together Avinu Malkeinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu va'anenu, ki ein banu ma'asim. Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed. Aseh imanu, tzedakah v'chesed, ve'oshienu.
We continue now with Mourner's Kaddish. We hallow the memories of those who died at this time in years past and those who have passed away recently. We hold them in our hearts. If you would like to put names in the chat, please feel free. We hallow them in God's name with the words of Kaddish. If you happen to be looking at a Machzor, it's page 1216. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabah, v'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala u'v'zman kari v'imru. Amen. Yehei shemei rabba mevorach le'olam u'me'ol maya. Yitbarach, yishtabach, yitpa'ar, yitromam, yitnaseh. Yitadar, yitale, yitalal, shemei dekudesha, richu. Le'ela u'le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran v'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Ameinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace and comfort to all who mourn, and we say v'namar, Amen. Happy to call upon Jackie Sherman to tell us what is happening in CBH world.
Okay, good morning. Welcome. My name is Jackie Sherman, and I'm the treasurer on the CBH board. We are thrilled to host so many friends from the Atlanta area, around the country, and across the globe for our virtual high holiday services as we celebrate Rosh Hashanah 5782. Yesterday we were in Denver, today we're in Atlanta. Every year, whether in person or virtually, CBH is proud to provide holiday services to our community without the traditional tickets for purchase. As a result, we rely heavily on your generosity to help us raise our annual funds. If you haven't already done so, we encourage you to support our high holiday appeal by visiting donate-to-cbh.org/2021. You are invited to join us later this afternoon for our Eid Hashlik service at 2:30 p.m. All are invited back for Kol Nidre on Wednesday, September 15th at 8 p.m. and Yom Kippur Day on Thursday, September 16th at 9:30 a.m. Want to conclude your Rosh Hashanah observance with a prayer for healing or an opportunity to recite the Mourner's Kaddish? The 15-minute evening minyan will meet tonight at its regular time of 8 p.m. The Zoom link can be found on our website, cbhatlanta.org. We have a new offering this year, our multi-generational Shabbat Shuvah picnic at a local park on Saturday, September 11th at noon. Please reserve your spot on our High Holiday Offerings page on our website. There are still spots to register elementary age kids in our renowned, innovative CBH Community School, which meets weekly each Sunday morning at the Friends School in Decatur. For more info, visit cbhschool.org. Sorry about the gardeners in the background. Even in the Shemitah year, you have to cut the grass. For all our members to whom we loaned a High Holiday Prayer Book, please plan to return them in the final 2 weeks of September following Yom Kippur. We will be providing you with a range of times that you can return them to CBH following Yom Kippur. When you return your prayer book, or anytime you come to CBH this September, please bring non-perishable food items to be donated to the Operation Isaiah food drive. If you enjoyed the music at today's service, you can delve deeper into the awesome professionally produced collection of CBH music on our website. You had an opportunity to hear 5 members of our chorus: Gayanne, our music director; Will Robertson, our chorus director; Shana Cohen, Mackenzie Wren, and Rebecca Leary Safone. Thanks to all of you. A big thank you to all who took part in our Envisioning CBH congregational survey. Whether or not you participated, please be on the lookout for communication regarding our upcoming focus groups, which will meet for once during October. We invite all community members to share during one of these important online meetings that will help shape CBH's future. Our deepest gratitude to all the volunteers, staff, and instrumentalists, and everyone else who helped bring CBH High Holidays to life, especially Rabbi Dale, Will Robertson, Gayanne Gurin, and Haley Monette for producing these virtual High Holiday services. We couldn't have done it without each of you. L'shana tova umituka. May you have a great, sweet new year.
Thank you so much, Jackie. Shana Tova to everybody. I just want to offer a closing blessing before we'll have one more chant to bring out this second day. Beautiful opportunity to be together. Source of all the world, Makor HaChayim, be with us in this place of not knowing, in this place of becoming, in this place of possibility. Let us find trust, bitachon. Let us say, Hineni, here we are present, we are ready. And let our eyes be opened to sustenance and possibility and the way forward. Keni Hiratzon, so may it be God's will.
Keni Hiratzon. Yai dai dai, 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 Tova, y'all.
Shana Tova. Feel free to unmute to say Shana Tova to each other. Can they unmute?
Hashana Tova.
Hashana
Thank you.
Tova.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful service. Thank you.
So beautiful to see everybody. Thank you.
Gorgeous service. Thank you, everyone.
It was incredible.